I'd like to call order the Utility Service Board for the City of Lawrence on this, the 28th day of January 2020. All members are present, so we do have a quorum. And the minutes were sent to you for your review by email. I would entertain a motion that we approve the minutes.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or corrections? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those nay. That is unanimously approved. Payment of claims. The claims were sent out to you for your review by email. I would entertain a motion that we approve the claims.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions regarding any of the claims? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. That is unanimously approved. Report of the Utility Superintendent.
Good evening.
Evening.
Okay, so we'll jump right into it here. Of course, I think the only thing I really have for approval is the DRF number 84 on there. That's Glenroy Construction. That's for our Wellfield Improvements Project. I am thinking that's probably going to be the second to the last pay app, and the last one, the next one will be the payout of the retainage and the closeout of that project. Certainly, we recommend approval. Then the next section of my report, and I'll touch on this briefly. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but so while we were doing our meter replacement program, we had actually received a call from a customer who asked if there was an opt-out provision, and then when she explained that this was all about her concern about radio frequency waves coming off of smart meters. So I started looking into that. I had called her back, and all I got was a voicemail, so couldn't leave a very detailed response to her, but didn't want to give her short shrift either. So did a bunch of research. You've got a couple letters there from our Badger meter supplier. So essentially what we have is there's some kind of like a movement underway now where people are really saying that these smart meter technology is generating radio frequency waves that are harmful to human health, I guess. And while I don't want to dismiss those concerns, I also don't put a whole lot of stock in them. I think there's a lot of science out there that is supporting that is, at best what you might call pseudoscience. At any rate, so the radio frequency waves that are smart meters, our Badger Orion meters, it essentially is a cell phone. So it's no different than using a cell phone. It is not any different than using, making a call on your cell phone, having a Wi-Fi router in your house. It's actually less impact than a microwave oven. And not only that, but given the distance meters typically are from the actual people in the house, and the fact that these waves would have to go through walls and especially if they're outside in a meter pit. So at any rate, I just wanted to address that in here, make it known that yes, we are aware of that situation, but that we are confident that the meters we're putting out there are not a problem. So that's essentially what that whole paragraph is about.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Radios, do they report all the way back to the office, or do you guys drive down the street and pick them up?
We have both of those right now. So our system is a totally automated meter reading right now, but we have two. We have the drive-by where the meter reader drives by with a laptop with a radio or transmitter receiver. And so as he drives by, it queries the meter wakes up, sends the information, and then that's how they get the reading. New type E-series meters literally can be read from the office, so that you can go into the billing system, pull up that meter. It's literally just a mouse click, and it wakes that meter up, and you get it's like you're calling the meter saying, "Hey, what's the reading?" So we have both. We're in the process now of, as the old original drive-by meters are starting to die out, the batteries are dying out. That's why we're doing these meter replacement programs, and we're putting in the new cellular technology, which also gives you a more robust version of the Ion Water app.
You know, Scott, it seems like this meter is probably more safe than a cell phone.
Oh, I think so. The cell phone you got right here.
Right, and as I recall, there was a caution that was issued about cell phones, and I don't remember that ever being called back. You know, the idea that talking on your cell phone a lot could give you brain damage.
Yeah, I don't, in the language that comes from like the CDC and the NIH, stuff like that, they don't even have it listed as a problem device, I guess.
I think,
It's, I think they're safe.
yeah.
So Franklin Road is proceeding well, thanks to the weather. We are making good progress on there. However, as we have been talking about the last few meetings, about stuff that you find as you go along. So today, 2 more broken storm sewers were discovered in Franklin Road that are going to have to be dealt with. And then also, turns out as the guys have been excavating, so we have at least 2 leaks where the water main was leaking. The water was going straight down the storm sewer. It didn't surface. So how long those were running, it could be, just recent, or, you won't know until we dig down on those pipes and actually take a look at them. But that will be happening in the next week. But again, your Franklin Road, you probably are not aware of this, but Franklin Road, so you have the pipes are, 6, 7 feet in the ground. And then, but above that, then you have Franklin Road used to be all concrete pavement. So you got about an 8 or 9 inch thick concrete surface, and then that's been overlaid with asphalt. So it's not surprising that, the water hasn't made its way up, but it literally found its way over to the storm sewer, which is why, nobody saw it. Mm-hmm. So we are finding things like that. The good news is we're getting them fixed. And now I want to introduce our new city director of engineering is here, Mr. Sri Venugopalan.
Welcome.
And so Sri comes to us with a lot of experience in civil engineering and water, sewer, roads, drainage. He's worked for Indianapolis DPW, just recently comes to us from Indigo. And so he's bringing a wealth of knowledge, and as I mentioned before, it's going to be very helpful with us. We've already got him out getting him dirty, taking him out on job sites. As far as assisting the utility, he's going to be a tremendous asset for us with reviewing contracts, plan reviews for our major capital improvement programs, helping to coordinate and strategize stuff, keeping an eye on engineers, all that stuff, and basically acting like a project manager for us. So that's going to be very valuable. And then also just want to continue to remind everybody out there that, yes, Franklin Road is still closed. We're targeting the first week of March to have that open back up. Again, we would recommend that people just avoid the area. I know it's terribly frustrating to go down to that intersection, but it is the safest thing that we could do was to close the road. And so, although we knew it was going to hurt, we made that decision. But again, I just ask people to be patient and really just avoid the area. If you can, there are ways around that area. It might take you a little out of your way, cost you a few extra minutes, but be well worth avoiding all that congestion at certain times of the day, and then just the frustration of having to wait.
I do have a little bit of a sidebar question, if it's appropriate right now. Can you tell me why the street is closed, because I travel that road every day, in front of the fire station? when you take the detour?
So, yes, so we met with the fire, or the police chief called us on this. And so what was happening is people were not following the detour to go back to Franklin, to go down to the intersection at Pendleton Pike and Franklin, and to resume their east or west, on Pendleton Pike. So if you go straight down McCoy to Pendleton Pike, you can turn right, but a left turn movement is prohibited because it's unsafe. It's a no left turn, it's clearly marked, but people, I think, were just getting impatient and they were going down there.
Okay.
So we put that up. I mean, we knew that it wasn't going to stop people, but it really has slowed them down, especially putting the two detour signs and making it clear that you can go this way to get eastbound Pendleton Pike, this way to get westbound Pendleton Pike. I think that's helped, but that was the only reason for that.
It's an officer's car out there sometimes, so that intensifies people doing the right thing. I was just curious. Thank you.
So, and along those lines, so we've got our big Rich Arts stormwater drainage project is getting ready to start up here probably in March, February, maybe even the contractor. We had a field meet earlier, was it late last week? It was late last week. And so they're going to start some tree removal and mostly potholing, probably maybe as early as February. But construction on that is going to start in earnest in the spring. They're hoping to be done around September. But again, that's going to impact traffic in that part of the city. Rich Art Street will be affected between 47th and 48th Streets. 48th Street from Rich Art to Michener will be impacted. And again, we just advise people to, if at all possible, avoid those areas. Of course, we'll let the residents that live there will have to be able to get in and out, as well as, mail delivery, package delivery, emergency vehicles, et cetera. So, and then the contractor will have all that, the detour routes up, he'll have signage up. He'll also be doing advance notification to affected property owners. They will be making sure that driveways remain open for access when they're done. I mean, they may, if they're crossing a driveway with a pipe, they may have to close it for a period, but they'll coordinate with the homeowner, make sure they can get in and out. So, but again, that's part of the stuff that we'll be working with Shree, and Shree will actually be working with the DPW project manager to make sure that adequate attention is given to those kinds of things. Now, I did make a typo in the Lawrence lift. So, so our statement fee, which was part of the 2017 rate increase, I had put that it would start July 2021 with phase 2 coming in July of 2022. It's actually starting July 2020 with phase 2 coming in 2021. So I put a correction in for the February Lawrence lift, but I wanted to mention it in tonight's meeting too. And then, the last item I want to mention is our Standish Estates. That's the situation where we had those existing, it's the old Sergeant's Row on 56th Street, where back when the city took that over from the Army, for some reason they put the meters in correctly around Lawton Loop, but they didn't do it for these houses on what's called Standish Estates. So we are now starting a process of correcting that. So we got the first 2 units done last week, I think. Other than that, that's about all I have right now.
Okay, well, thank you, Scott. Any further
Thank you.
questions?
I have one. Curious, the stormwater work that we're doing on Rich Hart, Indianapolis helping us out on that any?
They are doing that project.
They are doing it.
Yes, that's them. Yeah, and also they'll be doing the Trades District Sewer Improvement Project is going to bid actually in May, I believe, and which is in the industrial area on the south side of the tracks there between the Pike and the tracks and Interstate and Franklin Road.
Will this help drain some of those yards around there?
Are you talking about the Rich Art project?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to impact, 48th Street, 47th Street, between Rich Hart and Shaylin Way. It'll help. Atwell Drive, Hartman Drive and Sadler Drive between 47th and 46th, Kirchville Drive. It's going to be a good project.
Yeah, they'll appreciate that, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's a long time coming. Yeah.
I heard about it, believe me.
Thank you, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, under unfinished business, election of officers for 2020. This came up at our last meeting. I think a motion was made to continue with the 3 officers that we have. And it was made and seconded. That was tabled after some discussion and a question regarding whether or not we're all under a current appointment or not. Conferred with Kathy Walton, our city clerk. Dale was just reappointed to a 4-year term. The rest of us are midway in our terms somewhere. I think Terry, yours expires in September.
September, yes.
And Tracy, yours may expire in 2021 in September. Mine expires 2 years from now, 2022. And Dave, I think, is
2021.
yours 2021. So we're all current on that. So at this point, we need to deal with the election of officers. Tina went and inquired Kathy Walton as to how the city council does this, and they use a paper ballot. It is not a confidential ballot, and so she printed these off. So I'll look to you guys for your pleasure as to how you want to handle this, but there is a motion on the table, or yes, a motion is on the table. So we either need to modify that motion and use the paper ballots, or we can just act on that motion.
It's been motion and seconded. Do we have to take a motion to bring it back off the table, or?
Yes.
I move that we bring that motion back off the table.
I'll second.
Okay.
And I'd reiterate some of my concerns or comments, I guess. I think Steve's been running meetings well, orderly, well-managed meetings. I think Steve's legal background brings his legal knowledge to the table sometimes on running these types of meetings. That's positive for us. I think also there are times when the president needs to be available to sign papers or come in, come out. And I know he's had to do that at times, and being retired, he has more flexibility to do that than some people that are not retired. And I think the last thing I didn't mention last time was our mayor just went through a tough election and just won re-election. The citizens have voted for this administration to continue, and I'd like to think that an appointee of the mayor's continuing as the president would be in agreement, with the will of the people. So that's why I made that motion, and I would like to continue with at least the president, and I would be willing to amend the motion if you want to do one at a time, or all three. I'm not.
Do we do one at a time? I'll second the motion for one at a time.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend to do one.
Okay.
One seat, one.
Let's vote first on taking it off the table, and then we'll amend it.
Okay.
That's all right.
Make
All
a
those in
motion to
favor
take
of
it off.
taking the motion off of the table and acting upon the motion at this time signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Now, you want to modify your motion?
Modify the motion to say that I'm making a motion to propose Steve as president of the board
I'll
for the
second.
next year.
Okay, so you're modifying, and we're gonna take them one at a time at this point.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Discussion. Any other nominees?
I make a motion for Tracy to be vice president.
Okay.
Second?
I second.
Sorry, who was the second?
Terry was the second.
Barbara's writing.
We have two motions on the table at the same time?
We're modifying, well,
Let's do one office at a time.
Let's vote on the
Let's-
president first.
let's go ahead and vote on president.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay, that passes. So thank you all for your vote of confidence. And then Dave, you have a motion and Terry has seconded.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for Tracy as vice president.
Okay. Terry
I second.
is second. Okay. Any discussion? Any other nominees? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay, that passes. Office of Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for Tracy, not Terry, Terry to be secretary.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any other nominees? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Great, that passes. So we now have our officers for the upcoming year.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Thank you. Congratulations also.
New business. Approval of SRF disbursement form number 84 to Glenroy Construction Company, Inc. for $266,322. Entertain a motion that we approve that.
Also move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That is approved unanimously. Next order of business is account adjustments. First one is 7842 East 46th Street, requiring a sanitary sewer adjustment in the amount of $278.58 due to a service leak. Entertain a motion that we approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay, that is unanimously approved. Second is 8140 Hazen Way, requesting a sanitary sewer adjustment in the amount of $1,034.57 due to a slab leak. Entertain a motion, we approve that.
Water bill. I must so move.
Unfortunately, Kathy could not be here. I don't have all the details on this, but I understand it was a pretty bad leak. A service line let go underneath the slab, so it ran a lot of water.
Nobody noticed it for a while, apparently.
Is this always a 30-day cycle is it 30 days or is it longer than that?
It can be longer than 30 days, yeah.
With the new meters and the new technology, did you monitor that and has had some alarm?
Well, that's the importance of people signing up for the Ion Water app, because that's going to give you a much faster, even if you have the old drive-by meter, you're going to get a notice on the day your meter is read. With the new E-Series meter, you'll get that the next day. That's the difference. And so that's also why we're trying to get rid of the old drive-by meters and replace them with these new cellular E-Series meters. But, that's a considerably expensive venture. So we're trying to take these 1,000-meter bites at it. But still, it's faster if you have that, even if you only get the notice. Like when we see a high reading, we don't automatically send a notice out. We, because that could be explained, and often is. You say, okay, look, you got a high reading. Well, I had gas last week. Quit sending me letters. So normally, we would not tag for follow-up until after the second high reading. But with the Ion Water app, even if you have the old drive-by meter, you're going to, if you see, because you set the parameter when you want notified if your water exceeds a certain amount of usage in a 24-hour period, you set that because you know your water use habits better than anyone. And so, you'll get that right, literally right to your cell phone. So we strongly encourage people to do that.
So Scott, in the case with these slab leaks, I take it that the repairs have been made, or?
Yes, so part of getting the adjustment is they have to provide documentation showing that they had a plumber come out and fix the leak. So that way we know it was fixed, we know when it was fixed, and that we are assured that it was fixed properly.
Okay, I'm not sure we got actually a motion on that, did we?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve. All right, second?
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That is approved. Remonstration of ratepayer dispute regarding disconnect notice. We do not have any. We do not have any citizens here for.
President, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.